Hey there folks, welcome back to another video. Today, right now, here, we're going to be reviewing Halloween 2018. Now, I just watched this movie last night, and I just did my review for Halloween Kills not too long ago, and I had the camera flipped around, but when I put the phone back up, it wasn't working, it got all messed up, and I'm not going to sit here for 30 minutes trying to fix it. My phone's going to die soon. I already recorded this once, and I messed it up, so we're going to do this again. Hopefully make it quick. I apologize for the worst quality compared to the last video. I'll try to get it sorted out next time. But with all that being said, we're going to get into the review. I have a couple of bullet points here that I'd like to go over and maybe not ramble on as much as I did with the last interpretation, or the last attempt at this video, I should say. So first up, the classic intro. Now, I gotta tell you, 4 years ago, sitting in the theater, seeing the pumpkin inflate with the classic pumpkin design. It's not really the correct shape, but the classic pumpkin design in the corner, zooming in, the classic font, the orange to darker orange to fade in, the font. It looked great. Everything was awesome. It really set the mood, the atmosphere. All of it was great. The music, John Carpenter, Cody Carpenter, and Daniel Davies, I believe. They all three of them did a great job. Like I said, for Halloween Kills, the sound, the lighting, the set design, the music, the visual aspects, and the sound of these movies are all pretty damn good. The lighting in Halloween Kills, I will say, is better than this movie. In terms of a Halloween movie, it definitely is better. But this one's no slouch either. It has some really good moments in it. James Jude Courtney, as of the shape, I said this in the previous video, James Jude Courtney is one hell of a shape. He's one hell of a guy, he's one hell of a man, and he does a great job as Michael Myers. And if he is your favorite Michael Myers, I wouldn't disagree. He's pretty damn good. He's a good mixture between your brutal Michael and your liquid smooth Michael. He does a fantastic job. Kudos to him. The humor. That's one of the biggest aspects I've seen getting pointed to this film as a negative, which is humor and also Ray's character. I personally really like Ray. I thought he was very funny, and I think all of the humor in this movie landed, at least for me. Now, I can understand what it's like to be watching a movie with characters that you take very seriously and hearing jokes and just nonsense coming from the films. I know what that's like. I am a Marvel fan, after all. The MCU is notorious at this point for doing this. But Halloween 2018 is not quite on that level for me. Mostly because the humor actually works for me. It's my type of humor. I find it funny. So it works well for me. And also, it's not at the expense of, say, like Michael Myers. You know, the humor isn't at the expense of him, similar to, like, Resurrection, although Resurrection isn't all that funny. The punchlines are at the expense of Michael, if you want to look at it like that. Halloween 2018 and Kills, both those movies give a lot, if not all of the effort into respecting Michael Myers and what he does. And I will stand by that, though he's not the perfect interpretation of what that very first Michael was. He's not the same exact character, but there is a lot of effort putting into making him scary, making him believable, making him threatening and intimidating, and just making it worthwhile watching the film for a good Michael Myers to do his thing. So I will agree and stand by that statement, whether there's humor in it or not. Allison does a really good job. Andy Matichat, I don't know, I'm not even gonna try. But the young lady who plays Allison, she does a very, very good job. I really, really like her in these movies. She's incredible. She's definitely one of my favorite final girls out of the entire Halloween series. I think she does pretty damn good. She's believable. She's funny. She's charming. All those types of things, and also she's very believable at the end of the movie too, when Karen is pointing her gun up the staircase waiting for Michael to strike. She's planting her trap for him, and Andy is in the corner being very believable. So I do like her Her scene where she kind of just yells at the mannequins isn't really her fault, but that's a little bit weird. But I like it. She does a good job. Awesome. Can't wait to see what they do with her in Ends. Because again, this video is being filmed before I watch Ends, before it's come out, but it will be up afterwards. Funny and likable side characters and victims. This is something that I will say about Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills. For the most part, Halloween Kills, a lot of the side characters and victims are all very funny and very likable for me. I think Vicky, Julian, Vicky's boyfriend, Ray, like I said, Hawkins, all of these characters are very likable. I don't like Sartain very much, and I don't like the actual sheriff. I'm not a big fan of him. He's a little bit annoying. He's cocky, and I don't like that. But most of the younger kids, like Oscar and Cameron, Cameron's kind of a dick in this movie, but he's a little bit redeemed in Kills, so I do really like him in Kills. The kills in this movie. What is there to say about Christopher Nelson other than the fact that he's really put his fingerprint on these movies and has done an incredible job making them scary and making them gruesome and bloody. You know, he does a great job with that. He's a terrific artist in The Mask and the kills and everything. The way it's put together, the aftermath, what you see, what Michael's done, and you come back to it later. They do a lot of that in this movie. All of it's very well done and not very cheesy looking at all. It looks pretty good. For a horror movie, I would say that's definitely pretty awesome. In a Michael Myers movie, I'm a less bit of a fan of it, but it's great work, and since I'm an artist myself, or at least I like to think I am, I can respect it and enjoy it. The Doctor twist. Dr. Sartain's twist towards the end of the movie is very underwhelming, not very thrilled about that. I don't think a Halloween movie really needs a twist, and if it does, I don't think it's that. But it also kind of sets up another thing that I have an issue with in terms of this timeline that I will get into more of in a different video. We'll save that for later. But Dr. Sartain, not a fan of him. He's not no Dr. Loomis. They don't try to make him Dr. Loomis, but I'm just telling you he's not. This twist is just absolute rubbish in my opinion. I'm not a fan. I don't like it. Constantly teasing Michael's face. This movie and the tail end of Halloween Kills does this to an unforgiving amount. I just am not a fan of it. Like, give Michael his mask, okay? I understand that we've seen him unmasked in Halloween 1, but they run away from it every chance they get. When we see the clip in Halloween 2, they cut out Michael's face. When we see the clip in Halloween Kills, they cut out Michael's face. They barely show it in Halloween 5. You just barely get a glimpse of his silhouette and his eye. So I don't know why these movies are teasing it so much. I'm not even going to consider Rob Zombies because that does not count here. I don't understand what their obsession is with playing with it, because they know how much it made us mad in Halloween 2 with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, and they just continue to try to tease us. I'm not a fan of that. The long tracking shot. Now I gotta say that the work put into the tracking shot was pretty awesome. The lighting, the set design, the trick-or-treat atmosphere, the Halloween atmosphere, and the trick-or-treaters, I should say, was all pretty good. I liked that. I'm not a huge fan of seeing Michael that up close doing his thing for that long a period of time, but it was really well done, so I will give them props for that. It definitely would have had to have been hard to try to pull off a tracking shot that lasts, I want to say, like 2, maybe 3 minutes it lasts, so they did a pretty good job with that. The Halloween atmosphere in that scene is also really, really enjoyable and really refreshing, because we don't get to see the Halloween atmosphere focused on as much in the Halloween series, funny enough. So they did a really good job with the trick-or-treaters and the adults wearing their Halloween costumes, and that, of course, we get to see them again return in Halloween Kills, the doctor and the nurse. The music, the way Michael's introduced into that scene is also really clever with the stinger playing, so I do like that. And also, that's the end of my bullet points here, but one thing I would like to say is that the end of the movie is also pretty good, because we got to remember that this movie was, when it was originally created, it was intended not to be a trilogy. It was really just kind of a one-off. I'm sure they had their ideas, but it wasn't certain this movie was going to get a sequel initially, so it's kind of more of a standalone at first. So I think at some points you got to look at it with that lens, and I think that they did a pretty good job with it. The way it ends, it's pretty satisfying, I will say. It's overall pretty good. I do have my issues with the Laurie and Michael stuff. Again, like, I want to save that for another video. In terms of this movie by itself, I think it's enjoyable. I think it's fun. I think it's a pretty good horror movie. And I think it's a decent Halloween movie. So with all of that being said, I did like the movie. I do enjoy it. I think it's pretty good. It's not my favorite, but it's pretty good. And I do prefer Halloween 2, 1981 as a sequel. I can't really tell you why, because I have a lot of issues with that movie too, but I do prefer it. But with all that being said, let me know what you guys think about this movie, where you put it in your ranking. Let me know what your favorite Halloween movie is. Whichever you want to do, I don't care. Let me know down in the comments. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe, please subscribe. All of that would be greatly appreciated. And of course, until next time, true believers.